before I get into the GPZ, I also wanted to just mention another bike meet we picked up on a Wednesday evening, which is the Crown Inn at King Somborne in Hampshire, down near sort of Romsey, Stockbridge way. Because of the way everything is and life commitments and that sort of thing, Wednesday evenings is sort of the only midweek or the only weekly meeting we can really get to. And that's a new one. I think it's new to us. It's been running for a while now, a few years, but we started going along this spring, and it's a good meet at the Crown Inn. Nice mix of bikes, great bunch of people down there, and good tea, coffee, which is always good. It's at a pub, so you can get something stronger if you want to. And we've been on a sunny evening when there's been a ton of bikes, and we've been in an absolute deluge, downpour, raining evening, and there's been less bikes, but still, a good bunch of folks there. So yeah, if you're over in that area on a Wednesday evening, the Crown Inn at King Somborne. Don't know if I can't even see if the camera picked that up, but it's the bike night patch. They do a patch there as well. So yeah, head along to that if you're about there on a Wednesday evening. But yeah, let's get into the GPZ. So yeah, the Kawasaki GPZ500S. Recently picked this one up about a couple of months ago now, I suppose. Was on a pretty tight budget, so she's not in the best of condition cosmetically. There's a few bits and pieces like this where it looks like she's been dropped at some point in the past, scuffs and nicks and things like this to live with. The patina is there for the age, but structurally she seems to be in good condition. The swing arm's good. The all the basics seem to be pretty tidy. Paid $750 for her with was it 35,000 on the clock. So far, touch wood, she's running like a dream, running really well. New tyres, new brakes, and yeah, not much to do really. So in fact the only things I've actually done are I've changed out the indicators. Got these ones for 11 quid for the pair, for the rear indicators from Sports Bike Shop, because she had these fitted to the back, and I'm not a fan of these. They're not very easy to see, and the ones at the back were pretty knackered. They were hanging off anyway, so first thing I did was change those. But yeah, Kawasaki GPZ. I've wanted one of these for quite a few years now, really. Back in the day when I started riding, about 2005, these were still in production. They ran for quite a long time, sort of 80s, mid to late 80s, up until sort of late 2000. I think it was about 2008. I'll have to check that because I make myself look silly now, but I'm pretty sure they finished production around the sort of 2008 mark. And they didn't really change tremendously over that time. The sort of appearance remained the same, with that lovely sort of 80s look to it. Never had a bike with fairing before. Always had nakeds, so really nice machine to ride. I'll put the specs up, the brake horsepower and all that sort of stuff, but it's a really nice ride. Nice and light, pretty nimble, plenty of power there through the gears when you need it. Good acceleration. No fuel gauge. I mean, that's not the end of the world for me, because I've had quite a few bikes with no fuel gauge, so you just got to keep an eye on your mileage. I generally fill up before she hits reserve, and I haven't tested that yet, but generally fill up at about 120. Probably could get a few more out of it before she hits reserve, but that's where I'm at the moment. Obviously E5 going in there. I've put some fuel stabiliser in one of the tank loads just to give her a flush through, because I'm not sure if she'd been standing for a bit before the previous couple of owners had her. I bought her off a guy who'd bought the bike off his sister, so I know the last two owners had her in regular use. But yeah, you just always wonder about older bikes, don't you, whether they've been sat for a bit. But yeah, I mean, she's running okay, touch wood. Not much has been added. There's this USB charger that's been added, but I haven't tested that yet. And also, one of the previous owners has added some underlighting, which is a bit different. Again, I don't think the camera's going to pick this up, but there's kind of some purplish underlighting at different points on the bike. Tested it in the daylight and you can't really see it, so I won't bother putting it on now. But you know, if you're at a bike meet and you want to attract some attention and it's getting dark, I suppose you could put that on. But yeah, it's not really my cup of tea, but it's there, so I'll keep it in place. So yeah, you may remember that the bike I had before this was the Yamaha, the XJ6N. It was a newer bike than this one, in good nick, but for one reason and another, that had to go, and I picked this one up. So, you know, although there was only a few years in it, I think that was an 09 plate, this is an 04, you know, there's not, you can't really compare them in terms of condition. That bike had a much sort of easier life than this one, but, you know, in terms of performance, although that was obviously a slightly bigger bike, the XJ6, with a bit more brake horsepower than this one, you know, this one's light and you can still chuck it around and it's just as much fun to ride. And you know that I'm a massive Kawasaki fan anyway, so it's nice to go back to a cracker. And I just love the lines of the GPZ. I love that 80s look, you know. So yeah, I would say if you get a chance to ride one of these or to get one, pick one up while they're still around, because they really are a lot of fun. Yeah, quick update on the lid. I did a video a little while back when I picked up this Nolan lid, and I'm still really pleased with it. It's taken me a bit to get used to the visor, to get used to a visored lid again, because, you know, I had the open face before with the goggles, and we've had just continuous rain really over the last few months, and I've been out in some deluges with this, and the pin lock is handy in terms of stopping the steaming up, but where I wear glasses, my glasses steam up, so I've still got to crack the visor even though I've got the pin lock. And the other issue that I've got with the pin lock is if you've got your visor up for any length of time, you know, the rain, as we all know, the rain runs down on the inside of your visor. So, you know, that's an issue. But of course it gets trapped between the pin lock and the visor. And so you can't really clear it until it sort of condensates away, or you've stopped and had a chance to clear it properly, which is a bit annoying. And I'd kind of forgotten that was an issue with visored lids. But it's niggly, you know. Apart from that, I'm loving it. You know, I haven't really noticed, as I said in the review video, I haven't really noticed the increased weight over my previous lid. And yeah, really liking it. So that was that. The other thing I wanted to mention in the video was about ULEZ. So I do go into London from time to time for 59 bits, and you know, to nip up to the Ace, or to visit my mate Charlie, who's got the Motorcycle Rescuer channel, which I would encourage you to subscribe to and check out if you're not already. So Charlie helped me out with ULEZ compliance on this bike. When I mentioned to him that I was picking this bike up, we were talking about the fact that it wasn't ULEZ compliant, and Charlie kindly helped me with the process of getting the Certificate of Conformity from Kawasaki, because it's actually quite surprising the amount of bikes out there that London Transport don't have listed as ULEZ compliant, but when you get in touch with the manufacturer, actually they are compliant. And this bike of this year and model is one of those. So Kawasaki sent out the Certificate of Conformity, and I've just got that going through at the moment with London Transport, just waiting on them changing the ULEZ status of this bike. So that'll be handy. That'll save me £12.50 a time, which is good news. So yeah, Hope this video was of some interest, and I'll post some updates when I've managed to do a few bits to the bike. But as she is at the moment, although she's a bit tatty and in desperate need of a wash, you know, there's not much I really want to change at the moment. I'm probably going to keep these front indicators because they're working okay. I've swapped out the back ones, but apart from that, I'm happy. Yeah, the other modification that I forgot to mention actually, that the previous owners have done, is the exhaust. So yeah, so the previous owners have put on, excuse me, a Delkevic exhaust. So this bike normally has the twin exhaust, one each side, but it's a 2-into-1 system for this Delkevic. The baffles are in, so she's not particularly loud, but it's quite a nice tone. I don't know if the camera's going to pick that up, but when you're riding, if you know, working on the revs, you get the old pops and burbles, and it's just quite a nice tone. Handy when you filter in to have a little bit more of a burble, so the cars have got a better chance hearing you coming. But yeah, that was the one thing I forgot to mention. So yeah, back to a Kawasaki, and it's the Kawasaki GPZ500. Known in America as the Ninja, I believe. But yeah, stay safe, and I'll catch you in the next one.
Look at Sorrow Explorer.